My dad, in the First World War, he was only, 16, and he was a fairly well-built young fella, and some vicious old girl sent him a white feather. Now, a white feather in the First World War was supposed to mean cowardice, so it upset Dad pretty badly, so he then decided that he would go and put his age up and see if he could join the AIF, and which he did that. So he joined the AIF, and after training he ended up in France, and in France he dodged the gas and the bullets and the mud, and eventually came home. But it changed him a lot, because I know that later on in his life he had a lot of trouble with his nerves, Mum, who was with a girlfriend at that stage, got her eye on him, and she decided that she'd walk in front of him and drop a hanky. So she did this, and consequently when he picked the hanky up, he came back to her and said, "Is this yours?" And of course she said, "I didn't know I dropped it." So anyway, that's where they first met. And that was the start of a great romance, and they ended up being married, and were married for 65 years before they both died. Now, my eldest brother, he was very interested in aircraft, so he joined the Air Force. He took the place of another airman who had just got married, and Donnie was the best man. So this fella had been posted to Egypt, and Donnie said, "Well, I'll take the posting and leave him with his wife." So he went to Egypt and was killed over there. So that was so very sad. But the thing that really got me was that Mum, who had a background tied up with the gypsies in Romania, always reckoned she had second sight, and I sometimes think that they passed that on to me, because the time that Donnie died, I was flying in Narendra, because I joined the Air Force also. I borrowed a push bike from my mate, and I still don't know why, but I rode 100 miles to West Wyalong from Narendra, and I walked in the door, and we were devastated when Dad walked in at 5 o'clock, because I'd got there about 4. He came in at 5 o'clock with a telegram saying that my brother had been killed. And of course that really and truly upset us all. Then after that, when I got discharged from the Air Force, my sister, she arranged a birthday party for me and invited Elsie Navin. Now, Elsie Navin was a good sort, and I reckoned that she was going to be mine. And she was already tracking around with an Air Force fella. But anyway, I eventually wore her down, and we were married, and we ended up having 8 children. So we've been married now for 57 years. So that makes me fairly ancient. And then after that, Freddie Ashton, who was my brother-in-law, we decided to come and get mixed up with the dry cleaning industry. So for 6 months we lived in the back of the shop and cooked an egg on the gas out the back, and used to go down to Blowfly Jack's at night and have tea. So anyway, that was the start of the dry cleaning place. And then must have been the cold weather in Yass, I think, because we had the twins, and I can still remember the doctor ringing me up and saying, "You've got a boy." And I said, "Oh, that's great, are they both well?" And he said, "Yeah, but there's still one coming." And I nearly fell out of the tree. So I kept thinking that if I had twins all the time, they would eat me out of house and home. So we ended up with 8 children. Then our 8 children turned into 31 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren. And we couldn't be happier. Now that's a lot of memories.